Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Quality Woman Journey series. I am so excited to have you here with me, and most importantly, I am more excited to dive into what this episode is all about, which is a centered life, or what seems like a centered life. My approach to this episode is the fake it till you make it approach, meaning that what I will be talking about in this episode is not all about what I practice on a daily basis, but there are definitely things that I try to practice as much as possible in an attempt to keep me centered. Because guess what? Life is not perfect and it will never be perfect, but we still have to make the best of what we have. So fake it till you make it. So notice the topic of this episode is how to maintain a centered life and not how to have a centered life. Because like I said earlier, I don't believe in having a centered life. I believe in maintaining one because it's a never-ending process. There are days that you won't feel like you have it all together, and that's okay. And there will be days where you feel like everything is in control. And like I explained earlier, that is called life. Just life. What does a centered life mean? A centered life is a life of calmness and peace. You know you are centered when you are able to have control of most of your emotions, if not all of them. You are cool and collected and understand that not every action deserves a reaction. However, it is important, very important to note that being centered does not equate to being happy. Happiness is a fleeting emotion, and one cannot be happy all the time. One can be thankful, cheerful, grateful, and a number of other emotions, but all those emotions are not happiness. I just felt the need to clarify that. You can experience happiness and not be centered in your life. In fact, that is mostly the case. But in order to create happiness for yourself, you have to practice maintaining a centered life. Now, using myself as a case study once again, I have discovered a few things that work for me, and those are what I'll be sharing with you in this video. So buckle your seatbelt, in this case your earpiece or whatever device you are listening from, because we're about to dive straight into this, okay? The first tip is to surround yourself with good and genuine people. I know what you're thinking. Good and genuine people are difficult to find, but are they really? This is where your faith comes into play. As a Christian, every time I pray, I ask God for the spirit of discernment, the ability to fish out those who are not genuine in my life, and I can confidently say that this has never failed me. Granted, it's not an easy process, finding out that someone you thought was genuine is not, but at the end of the day, you've got your answer, and that's what matters. Good and genuine people are necessary for a centered life because these are the people that motivate you to keep being the best you, even when you don't feel like it. They are the ones that you can count on when things are spinning out of control. These are the people that God deposits into your life to help you and to extend the love He has for you through them. These people keep you sane in an insane world. And this is why they are very important for a centered life. The second tip is to pray and meditate. Whichever rocks your boat, honestly. Personally, I do both. Depends strictly on my mood. There's something prayer does to your spirit and soul that words cannot describe. My prayer time or place, which is mostly my room by the way, is the one place I can completely be myself, stripped and unashamed, and I know that He doesn't judge me. When the world feels overwhelming and there is a lack of peace and calm, praying always helps me. Meditating is also cool when I need to quiet my mind and process my thoughts. Ever had one of those days where everything seems to be happening all at once and you feel like you need to retreat to a corner for some peace and quiet? That's when meditation comes in. Put on a nice calm tone, or my personal favorite, a sound of waves, and let your mind relax. There's nothing more centered than this. The third tip is to focus on your goals. My goals are what drives me. Without them, I'm completely aimless. This gives my life meaning because the more goals I achieve, the closer I am to the purpose that God has destined for my life. I notice that nothing brings me more unrest, like when I'm not doing what I love to do, or when I feel like I have deviated from my goals. This leaves me feeling unsettled in my space and my skin. And then the feelings of distrust in myself, sadness and depression creeps in. Focusing on my goals and achieving them brings a certain level of peace and calmness into my life. Like I said earlier, I am using myself as a case study for this episode and hoping that most of what works for me would work for you as well. So it's okay if this particular tip doesn't center you, because I'm aware that different things give meaning to different people. So for this particular point, feel free to swap this out with whatever fulfills you. Be it teaching, charity, work, whatever you can think of, and the message is the same, okay? The fourth tip is to watch TED Talks and listen to educative podcasts. Now, this particular tip is for everyone, so take notes. The impact of podcasts and TED Talks cannot be overemphasized in this generation. There is so much to learn and unlearn and relearn, and this keeps the mind busy and constantly filled with useful thoughts. I started listening to podcasts and TED Talks on YouTube about a year ago, and they have completely changed my life. They've changed the way I view situations, people, and relationships. To be honest, they are like my on-the-go therapy sessions. I know they are nothing compared to the actual therapy sessions, but you would agree that they come really close. It is important to be careful of the types of podcasts you listen to, because I'm aware that there are a lot of them on YouTube which teach the wrong messages and encourage horrible behaviors. So be mindful of those podcasts or TED Talks, because these have the ability to influence your thoughts and views and eventually lead to more chaos than peace in your life. Last tip, and you should have seen this coming, is to exercise, eat right, and invest in skincare. Ever heard the saying, you look good so you feel good, and vice versa? They go hand in hand. I have to say, I feel most centered when I'm eating healthy, I'm up on my exercise plan, and I'm committed to my skincare routine. I think I've said this before on my YouTube channel, that my skincare routine, especially my night routine, is one of my best moments because it is my calmest moment. I look forward to it most nights. To be honest, I don't think this tip needs more explaining because it's self-explanatory. It is a tested and trusted way to maintain a centered life. So I leave you with these 5 useful tips on how to maintain a centered life. And I guarantee these tips will work for you as well if you're willing to try them. Remember, life is not perfect, and to be honest, perfect is boring anyways. So let's make use of what we have to attain a level of completeness that is essential to lead to what I call a centered life. Thank you so much for listening to the end. I hope to see you in the next Quality Woman Journey episode. Mwah.